I feel like it's time for us to like go away from here, you know what I mean? I've been thinking about it for a long time. See, let's go to Africa.
Shit, nigga, please, be for real.
Yo, I've never been more serious in my life. I mean, we've been to the islands, we've been everywhere. Who says we can't go to Africa? That's all we ever talk about. That's our dream, to go to our homeland, where our roots are.
In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
We're taking our talents to Africa.
What? To Africa.
What?
To Ghana.
What?
What? Oh my God, this is big news. Open your eyes.
When I opened my eyes, I couldn't believe it. Africa, for real. I felt like I never really seen clouds before. I felt like the sky was a different color blue, the trees a different color green, and the people too. The people were beautiful. It felt right. It was harmony, like I wasn't far from home. It's like a whole new beginning.
Good day, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dale.
And I'm Dacia. Welcome back to our channel, Off the Wheel.
Off the Wheel is our movement. It's a movement of Black Americans who have decided to jump off the hamster wheel, that is America, and landed in our chosen African countries. For us, it was Ghana. And to remind you, we started this journey by asking one simple question. And after our first visit to Ghana in 2021, we determined that Ghana was our future. And here we are. So we take you along our journey, we document our experiences, we talk about the challenges of making such a move, and we also talk about the opportunities as well. So we're hoping to assist you if you dare so ask the question. Is living in Ghana, moving to Ghana, better for me?
So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and please give this video a thumbs up.
So our community is a collection of like-minded people that are fed up with America, other places as well, and want to live a new life here in Ghana. We want to see Ghana win. We believe in collaborative economics. So please consider joining our membership at offthewheel.info. It's for anyone who is in need of the right kind of information, looking to invest, looking to move, looking to leverage collective intellectual proficiency and monetary resources. And at the end of this video, there will be many commercials for many of the initiatives that we're committing both our time and our money to. Because we're looking to attract, convince, and persuade people to come to Ghana and to bring their capital, many of our projects revolve around housing. Once you're here in our Airbnb, we can assist you with buying an Airbnb for investment purposes, building a home, buying an apartment, or even buying a condo like the one we're living in right now. Some of you might be interested in our ready-made housing for people looking to move here and want to avoid all the drama that comes with land acquisition, litigation, land that's been sold over and over multiple times, unauthorized selling, land guards, shakedowns, and then you have contractor drama, incompetency, over-promising, under-delivering, over-budget. So you can avoid all of this drama by choosing one of our 3 pre-designed housing units to be built in less than a year. And this would be the year that it would take for you to get your affairs in order and move here. For more information, this commercial is located at the timestamp below. Then there is senior living, which are move-in ready, large apartment units for rent created for the 50 and over crowd. Mobility sensitive, health on demand, shared transportation, and other amenities. So whether you want to rent a unit as a resident or invest in this project as our limited partners, please look at the timestamp below for this commercial. Then there is the exporting of Ghana products through our initiative, Ghana Authentic, for customers in the U.S. who want to source authentic Ghanaian products for resale, fabrics, wigs, soaps, all kinds of products at a very competitive wholesale price so that you can make a decent profit at your business, at your conferences. So for more information on this, look at the timestamp below. Then there is our expatrelocation.help site, which is a service platform to assist the people that are moving here with all the necessary documents needed to ship possessions via container, to live here, to work here, to start a business here. So for information on that assistance platform, please look at the timestamp for the commercial for that. So whatever resonates with you, or whatever kind of assistance you need, you can see the commercial at the end of this video and also find more details on our site, offthewheel.info. Or by becoming a member, you will receive additional behind-the-scenes information and data on these projects. Take a look at this link to see an example of the kind of information that's covered, that's analyzed, and shared with you, the member. In the end, we want to create a soft place for you to land and for your capital to land as well.
And if you are traveling to Ghana, please stay with us at our Airbnb. We can accommodate everyone from solo travelers to groups up to 12. When you stay in our Airbnb, not only do you get a safe, clean, spacious apartment, but you get to tap into our network. Dale's expertise, his brain during your stay, maybe mine too, you never know. Visit the link below for more information. Airbnb link below.
Traveling to Ghana? We got you covered. Off the Wheel is offering affordable Airbnbs and a do-it-yourself travel guide. Our apartment units are modern, comfortable, safe, and 100% as advertised. Did we say affordable? Why pay expensive hotel rates when you can get a more authentic experience for a better price? And we have even more savings for you. Once you've booked, we provide all the details needed to visit the must-see Ghana tourist attractions. We give you the cost per person, lunch estimates, travel costs, and a suggested tip, so that you can create your own DIY travel itinerary that fits your schedule and your budget. For those that want an all-inclusive travel package at a higher price point, we can pass you on to our travel partners. Whether you're traveling solo or in a group, we can service from 1 to 12 travelers. Enjoy on-premise amenities like tennis and racket sports, basketball, pool, and more. We even provide airport pickup and drop-off. Once you compare costs, you'll see that DIY traveling with our personal insight will allow you to enjoy Ghana for a reasonable cost. Who knows? With all the money you saved, you might donate to a local cause or invest in a local initiative project through our sister partner, Expat Impact. Hosted by two former New Yorkers from Brooklyn who jumped off the wheel and moved to Ghana, who'll be your on-premises attendants to support and guide you.
We can't wait to show you what life could be like off the wheel.
Looking forward to hosting you.
See you in Ghana. Wow. Here we are, Dacia. It's the end of 2023. This marks our first full calendar year here in Ghana. So I guess in this episode, what we're going to do is we'll be doing a year-end wrap-up for our very exciting and incredible year. And we want to answer a lot of questions from the past year, from our viewers, from our followers and subscribers. So first, let's make a couple of year-end observations before we get into some Q&A.
Okay.
So first observations, what are our thoughts on having made the move here to Ghana?
Well, I would say that the biggest surprise, there's so many, but a personal one was the way that Dale has picked up driving here in Ghana. I mean, most of you know that driving here in Ghana can be very challenging, from dodging potholes, craters, making your way out in a blackout driving. He seemed to master that. Another good surprise was how we were able to kind of grow our community of friends, many of whom, people that I hadn't known before, and I consider them almost family here. I have people who check on us, we visit their homes, both from the diaspora and people from Ghana as well. And, that has really made me ecstatic and has made our transition that much softer for us too. Or our assimilation that much softer too.
Another observation we've had here is sometimes we make a little joke here at home. When I look at Daisy and I say, do Ghanaians really want to make money? Because we've had many examples of a weird phenomenon, and that is we hire someone to do a job. We typically pay above market wages, and we're very flexible with time. We're not on American time. And time again, this weird thing happens where the Ghanaian doesn't finish the job and doesn't collect the rest of the money, if not any of the money. Some examples have been when we've hired cleaning people on occasion. Sometimes there's no shows for no good reason. A lot of times there's super lateness, which just leads to the job not being able to be completed in a reasonable time. We've had examples of my car mechanic no showing or just not showing up in the time frame that we agreed, so the mechanic doesn't get paid for a job that I was more than willing to prepare for. We've had too many to count examples of drivers that we've tried to engage for ourselves, for our AirBnB guests, for our friends and family who've come to visit. I would even argue we're some of the easiest clients that you can get for a driver. And lots of no-shows, lots of 3-hour late show-ups, and so we had to make other accommodations. So in each of these situations, cleaners, mechanics, drivers, I just sometimes marvel at the amount of economic activity that's lost because a Ghanaian is not ready to take my money.
I mean, I think it's kind of forced us in a way, which I didn't really want to do, was to always have a backup plan. So if the cleaner doesn't show up, I got to get my gloves on and I've got to do the work, which is fine because I don't mind doing it anyway. But for me to, help somebody else to kind of advance was kind of like important to us. And we've had people who've asked us to clean. It was never that we went to them to clean.
Well, in most of these engagements, it was initiated by
On the other, right,
the
other person.
the vendor,
Right.
the worker, the entrepreneur. I can drive you anywhere you want.
Right.
I can come clean your place.
Right.
So
And
that made it even
yeah.
weirder.
Yeah. The driver thing was kind of a big deal for me because, a lot of times Dale's out doing business and I may want to go out and I might schedule someone to come and then they don't show up. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just take an Uber or Bolt or whatever. But sometimes it's nice to drive with someone who you're familiar with that has, a good driving history that you've seen with them. And sometimes they just don't show up, don't call, or I'm on my way, I'm coming. Yeah, well, it's been an hour. Are you really coming? So, yeah, I think that was something that we observed here within the last year or so.
Another thing that I find unsettling and weird is being referred to by a certain name. Now, most Black Americans, most diasporans who move to Ghana from abroad eventually find out that they have a word for us. How do you pronounce it?
Obroni?
Abroni. So many of us get a little offended, but it's the Ghanaian word for foreigner, visitor, etc. But the weird thing is being referred to as the white man. That's very common here in Ghana. And I remember one time being at a business meeting, and someone said, "Yeah, we're waiting for the white man to blah blah blah," and I was looking for the white man, but they were referring to me as the white man. So that was a shock. I thought it was a mistake, but it was a shock. And this happens in a variety of settings, personal, business. Ghanaians, I don't know if it's a colorism thing. I don't know if I've seen this reference made to any dark-skinned people. So I don't know if it's just a foreign thing or a colorism. I don't know, but it's strange that I'm referred to as the white man. Okay, so let's start with the first Q&A question.
So at AfroMans6172, which was about 5 months ago, said, "Once again, I loved your video. I wish you could post more often. Thanks." So, when we first started this video channel, this YouTube channel, it was really just a way to document, for our family, for our friends, our journey. But as time went on, it became a place to promote our businesses and our business ideas, but also to grow our community. So honestly, we post only when we have something to say. Maybe something that inspires us, or we think that might inspire you, if it'll motivate or maybe teach something. Dale has been busier than ever. He's out and about creating relationships and opportunities. Mainly me, I stay near home base. Health and wellness is kind of my job right now. I really take care of my plants. I prepare meals, I exercise, I'm learning how to swim. So in a nutshell, we're like living our lives So, and time just passes so fast, and we're like, yeah, we need to post. But I think in 2024, we're gonna change that a little bit. I would like to do some shorts to kind of give you guys a better glimpse of our day to day. How does that sound to you? What do you think?
Sounds good. I suppose, yeah.
We'll try. So an anonymous person asked, are we learning Tree or any of the other languages? I think living here, we get kind of spoiled. Most people we interact with do speak English. Before I moved, I was really motivated to learn. Now I've really slowed down. My main words that I use a lot are, but I always seem to use kafra. It means I'm sorry or like excuse me, because I'm always like, I'm walking in a daze. So sometimes if I bump into someone, especially in the market, I say, oh, kafra. Another one is saying or how much. And that's important, you know, when you go to the marketplace and you're trying to make people think that you might be somewhat native. So that's other one that I use a lot. And the other word I use a lot is pacho, which is short for me paocho, which is please. And those are kind of like the main ones that I use all the time, but I haven't really expanded too much deeper into like full sentences and things like that.
This, you know, speaking of language reminds me of something funny. I think it's funny. I hope I'm not going to offend any of my Ghanaian watchers, but I remember like when you say things, even though you're learning the language, to a Ghanaian ear, it still sounds so ridiculously foreign and incorrect. And what I've learned about the Ghanaian language is we could say everything what appears to us correct, phonically correct. But the difference between a che and a chi, Ghanaians don't understand what we're saying.
And ooh.
And so it reminds me of another thing that I remember one time I was going to a neighborhood past this Kaswa to meet someone, and it was I was going to a place called Tipper Junction. Looked it up on Google Maps. Tipper, Tipper. And so all along the way, I kept stopping at gas stations, bus stations. Is this the right way to get to Tipper Junction? No one knew what the hell I was talking about. Finally, someone who was spending a little extra time with me said, oh, Tipper, it's right there. And I was like, no one understood me when I was saying Tipper, but everyone was now understanding me when I said Tipper. And then it reminded me of all of these other ER words. Ghanaians don't understand me when I say water, but only understand me when I say wata. Or daughter, data. And so the language is really interesting on what extra challenges I have. Forget about in tree. I'm just talking about I got extra challenges in the English of what is understood coming out of my mouth to a Ghanaian ear. So, and then we have a little fun. I make fun of our Ghanaian friends whose mouths can't come together to say water, daughter. So it's fun. We make fun of each other. Also, I learned that, and Dacia learned also another word, you know, where there's always going to be miscommunications is the word flower and things that sound like it. Go into, you know, the shopping store looking for flour. Everyone's looking at me like I got 3 heads, but they pronounce it like
Fla.
instead of flower.
I was like, you don't have any flour? for cakes, for bread.
So,
I even tried to explain, and it was like.
but
oh,
I am going to make a commitment. I'm personally going to make a commitment. Maybe I'll do it for every following video. We'll
Start conversation or part of a conversation.
Part of a conversation, share some new words, show some of our followers some words that are, pretty good at getting you around. So that's the commitment. So starting the next video, for us, for you, we'll introduce some words into our conversation, and maybe you'll get, a little fluent. Maybe we'll get a little more fluent. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And another anonymous YouTube subscriber asked, "What is your favorite Ghanaian food?" So for me, I think about a few months ago, a friend of mine introduced me to red with plantain. So of course she took me to a stand on the side of the road, and basically red is like black eyed peas with some kind of a tomato sauce or something. Then you have a choice to mix it with coconut oil or palm oil. I always get mine with coconut oil, and then I add the gari to it and mix that up together. And then I can get my fried plantains on the side. They put it in a plantain leaf, wrap it up, and then when you get home, it is like the best thing.
So this is a vegan dish.
Yeah, technically, because it's
personally, I don't consider anything a meal that doesn't have meat. If it doesn't have meat,
it's amazing. My only mistake was I was eating with a spoon. She was laughing at me, but it's all good. But let me tell you, that dish is like I dreamt about it after the first time. I didn't want to eat the whole serving when I first got it because I said I need this again later. And I've gotten it a few times after, but that by far is kind of my favorite dish or combination of food here. Is the plantain. Anything with plantain, forget it. Hands down, my favorite. But with the reds, it's like a whole other level for me.
Let's just get to the issue here. Ghanaians only want to know two things. Do you like fufu? Do you like bangu? So let's just cut all the crap and get to the issue.
I'm not a fan of fufu, and I'm not a fan of bangu.
Do you know what it's made of? First off, do you know what each is made of?
I don't remember exactly. I know it's cassava in one. Sometimes it's plantain and cassava. Do you remember exactly?
We've tasted them.
I've tasted them. Fufu's a lot smoother.
And they said fufu, you're not supposed
to chew it. I was chewing it. You're supposed to just swallow it. And then make a little indentation in the fufu so that you can scoop up the soup or whatever. Okay. So I like the soup that accompanies the fufu, but
so
I
you don't like the fufu?
No, but I'll drink the soup.
Bangu
is very intimidating for me. It's very heavy, so I have not.
And they have the nerve to sometimes serve two
bangus with one tilapia. Like that's way too much. Like I can't even put that in my stomach. I could eat like a third, but it's not a texture that we're used to. So I like the soups and what accompanies it, but not the actual carb.
So I'm not a fan of either. And I used to feel bad about it, but now I don't feel so bad about it because it would be just like this. If we were living in the States, in New York City, and, we're talking to a Ghanaian who's just moved to New York, we would expect that Ghanaian to love all of the foods that they grew up on and not like most of the foods that I would introduce from either New York or from my southern roots. Mm-hmm. Let's say, for example, some things that my people eat, my southern people eat. Grits.
Yeah. Grits.
Chitlins. Anything
gizzards.
Pig related, pig foot, pig. A Ghanaian might look at that stuff and go, that's weird. And I would expect them to adopt all of my foods, to love all of my foods. And so now I'm okay with not liking every Ghanaian dish that I run into. I like brofoots. Those are good. But I have to be honest, respectfully, Ghana, I'm not that much of a fan of fufu. And for Bangu, I could go either way. I've eaten it and it's okay. I'm not like disgusted by it, but I don't sit around going, man, I can't wait to put another piece of Bangu in my mouth, like we do for sushi, Italian, Colombian, pizza, curry this. So all in all, I guess it's basically just maybe we're just too old in life to take on all new flavors, or maybe it'll grow on us. Maybe a year from now, I'll have to apologize to the fufu and the Bangu and say I love it now. It remains to be seen, but for now, a year and change in, those are the things that Ghanaians ask you. So yeah.
But one thing that did grow on me food-wise was contumere stew. It's like
You've never had this before.
I hadn't really had it before. I saw people eating it, and I was like, But that has grown on me. That's delicious. It's like I think it's spinach with like some tomato, onions. I mean, it's amazing on rice. So that's definitely grown on me. But I think it just takes us a little bit of time to explore a little bit more. So another question we had was, how is your yam farm going? The harvest should be ready sometime in January. I think we will document the journey up there. I'm not if I'm going, if we're both going, I'm not sure, and that we'll share it with you. Anything else you want to talk about the yam farm?
So yeah, the Yam Farm, it ran into some delays because the rain season started a couple months late, and you need rain for yams. And one thing about the farm is when we invested in it, we didn't know exactly how far away it was. It's 12 hours away in the OT region, which is past the Volta. OT.
OT? Oh.
Which is past the Volta region. And if the 12-hour distance wasn't bad enough, 4 to 6 of those hours are bad roads. So we haven't been super motivated to get there, but the farmers have been reaching out persistently, saying, you got to come up here and see the progress. I think they want to keep us close to the process so that we don't lose interest, so that we are satisfied with the progress and with the yield, with the harvest, and with the profit. Because our promise was, if this was all worth it profit-wise, because this wasn't a non-profit endeavor, if it's worth it profit-wise, we tell 99 of our friends, and we each do a 10-acre farm, and we change the landscape of economic activity in that region for generations to come. So they're pretty excited to keep us informed and to show good results. But the truth is, it's just so far away, and the roads are bad, and you got to have a driver who knows the bad roads. And so we're planning to go take some footage, document the results in the next 2 weeks before the harvest is finalized and the product is transported to the market. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Plus, it's also going to be a part of an upcoming video where we do a little more detailed evaluation and analysis of all of the projects that we've undertaken. So yeah, you can watch out for that soon. So Ghana Exodus asked the question, please let your beautiful wife present all the feminine things, for example, the wigs, the beddings. Stop hogging everything and let her present. So you think I hug?
I mean,
I don't hug. I'm just joking. It's a joke. See?
he just talks more than I do. Generally.
Actually, I don't even believe that.
Really?
I might talk more through this medium, but I think at home you talk more.
Yeah. It was on that side, and the products were there, so he was really just talking about it. Plus, I mean, I'm involved in the.
Whatever happened to the man leaves the household? Whatever
That's what I
happened
wanted
to
to.
that?
You want me to say that? It wasn't that he was. Well, anyway, as far as the feminine products go, I don't know if that they're all feminine products because.
See, I even disagree with that because that wasn't even about you should talk about the products because it was a wig or it was shea butter or cocoa butter or black soap. The point of what our follower was referring to was it was about the export business.
Yeah.
The business that I have with a Ghanaian partner. So it's less about
Male versus female, feminine versus.
look at this
Yeah.
soap. These are the attributes. It smells like. It makes my skin. That wasn't what it was about. It was about like we referred to earlier in the video that you'll see a mini commercial at the end of this video. One of our initiatives is an export company where our aim is to open up new markets for Ghanaian creators because us Americans have a privilege that we had never known about before, and since we've come to Ghana has been glaringly, explicitly visible, and it's our passport privilege. And so we don't know how big of a deal it is to just be able to hop on a plane and go wherever. Most Ghanaians can't do that. And so when you're a Ghanaian and you create something, and it's a good something, but your product market is limited to just here, we said, wow, wouldn't it be a great thing if we could help Ghanaian creators expand their market, at least into our old home, America. And so it's really more about business and export
Not about the product.
and logistics.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hear you, but anyway.
I digress. At DJ Falong asked, do you have to show how much money is in the bank before citizenship?
Well, this is
Because we're not citizens.
it's a weird question. So
Yeah.
we got to dissect this question. About citizenship, you have to be here 5 years as a good resident in standing before you can even apply for citizenship. So you don't come, contrary to what people thought or think the year of return is, that you show up in Ghana and they're handing out citizenship cards like hotcakes. That's not the case. You come here, you contribute, you stay out of trouble, and in 5 years you can then start the process to become a citizen. So that's separate from the first part of the question. Do you have to show how much money you have in the bank? And that answer is yes for residency
yeah.
permit, which is not required, but unless you have a residency permit, you can't move around like a responsible human. You need a residency permit to
The bank.
to open up a bank account. You need a residency permit to get a driver's license. You need a residency permit to blah, 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 blah. And it ain't easy getting a residency permit, but to the question, you do have to produce financials. I don't know if there's a cutoff. Like, I don't know if we presented bank statements that showed we had $20 in it, would that have been a problem?
Right.
We didn't have 20. We had a little bit more than 20, but you do have to show financials, And furthermore, like we documented in a couple of earlier videos, not only do you have to show financials for your residency permit, you have to bring 2 Ghanaians who have to bring their bank statements
Right.
and show their resources. So that's why the residency permit is so tough to get, bringing 2 Ghanaian citizens with you along a whole super long checklist of other things. So you do have to show finances, but it ain't for citizenship because we're far from citizenship application process. On a side note, I just read that some South American country is requiring proof of, I think it's $2,000 before they'll let you in. So I don't know if that's fake news or a real development that just hit the ticker, but if it is real, I'll leave a link at the bottom here to the article.
So at Beacons of Light, Just Be It said, wow, how did you manage to secure a residence like this? My goal is to relocate to Africa, but don't know where to begin. Residence, where we're living.
Here, okay.
Oh, residence, okay. Not
So
residency.
how we secured this residence is Dacia.
Yeah. There was a lot of back work that I did before we even landed here in Ghana. The deal was, I'm sure you guys have heard this before since you've been on our channel. Dale said if we're gonna come and explore and see if it's possible that we would want to live here, we can't do tourist stuff, we have to come with a plan. So, of course, 6 months out, I started making contacts with different real estate companies, different complexes, because we knew we didn't want a house, so that was out of the running. We didn't want to build a house.
Dacia owned a home.
Yeah.
When I started dating her, I owned a brownstone in Brooklyn. We both came to the conclusion we were done being house people. So ever since, for the most part, we've been together, we've been apartment/condo people.
Correct. So it was really a lot of legwork and, WhatsApp messaging back and forth, researching companies, and, looking at your budget, what it is you're willing to spend, what's the location, what's around it. So we had a lot of appointments when we landed, so we were able to see quite a bit of property in our 10-day stay here. And this was one of the properties that we visited, and we just right away kind of knew this is where we wanted to be. So really it's just research, back work. Everything is on YouTube, available for you to see. People are open and willing to talk to you online. But of course you have to come here, see for yourself, know that you trust the person. And because this is a bigger complex, there was less of having to prove things here. It wasn't an individual, so it kind of was seamless in a way. To choose it after that is a different story, but to choose it was seamless for us, I think.
And to answer the question, well, it's kind of like it's a statement/question from Deacons of Light. Don't know where to begin. So in the next video or two, I'm going to be dedicating one entire video for people who don't know where to begin on the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you should do that will put you in a position of success, planning, moving, and then succeeding in a transition to Ghana. But the most important thing for people who don't know where to begin is the answer to the question that we always keep asking you to ask yourselves, which is, could Ghana be a better life for you than blank, for us, New York? Could Ghana be a better life for us than New York? And if you have a feeling that it could be, you might want to explore it, you're open to the idea, because you'll have a lot of friends and families and coworkers who are all be against the idea, will ridicule the idea, will poo-poo the idea, will have you second-guessing yourself about having the idea. But once you say to yourself, you know what, I'm leaning towards it, I'm open to it, the rest is just planning and logistics. It's where you think your heart will be eased, where you want to spend the rest of your time, the rest of your life. How do you want to spend the quality of your life on this planet? And so I'll just give a teaser. Housing, financial stability, like whether you're bringing money with you or you have a remote income. These are the two main things that you would plan around and make sure that it's stable, and then everything else is easy. So, but look out for the video coming up on where to begin. In a related question, Anonymous also asked, how much do you have to save up to move to Ghana? And it's kind of in the same space of the last answer. So, did you have in your mind a number that you would have felt uncomfortable with if we hadn't saved, where we couldn't have moved here? You were okay with what we had saved to move here?
Yeah.
What do you say to people? What do you think someone should have saved up to move here? I'm curious what you think.
It's not an easy question to answer, mainly because it depends on what kind of lifestyle that you want when you come here. I mean, I don't like to give a number because
another way to look at the question is assuming that you bought a place here for cash and you were just responsible for your day-to-day living every year, and you weren't old enough to be receiving Social Security, how much should you have saved, assuming that you can't get any work here, you didn't bring any remote work with you, how much should you have saved to survive any year, each year, up until your benefits start to come in?
well, let's assume they bought like a $50,000 either house or apartment, small house, of course. 50,000. I would say over the next 10 years or 12 years until retirement or pension or whatever, another 50,000. That's assuming you don't want a car to drive, but you're taking public transportation.
So 5,000 per year to survive.
Yeah.
You can survive on 5,000 per year?
Well, again, it depends on the lifestyle, right? If you come from a lifestyle where you're eating out constantly, if you're traveling a lot, 5,000 obviously is not going to do it. But you're asking me if it can be done.
Oh, okay.
It can be done, yes.
But not to live like you.
No. But it all depends on the lifestyle that you want. Like, you have to be honest with yourself. This is how much you have, and this is the lifestyle that you may have to.
Dacia eats out a lot. Dacia does travel.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just.
Well, listen. The
You
point
travel
is,
though, right? You do travel.
okay, that's not the point. That's the lifestyle I chose. But so for you, this is what you do. You do that with people, because you did it with me when you became my financial analyst. You said, this is how much you're earning, this is how much you should be saving, or this is what you're currently saving. And if this is what you're saving, what do you want it to look like at the end? So for some people like us, we were saving all along, not knowing where we were going to end up, 10, 15 years from now or ago. But for some people, they haven't started saving yet. You know what I mean? So it all depends on where you are and where you want to be. You go through your little Monopoly game with people, and you show them the little milestones that they need to achieve along the way, and you give them a reality check. Well, if this is what you have and this is what you want, you're not going to get there. So you have to do X. Or if this is happening, this is what you want, and you want to move now, this is what you're going to expect when you come. It all depends on the lifestyle you wanted to lead. I mean, we had our own non-negotiable things that are expensive things for certain people. So,
we had
couple of things.
What was the first one?
3 non-negotiables. I mean, the first thing was air conditioning, because we're going to a hot place, and that was a non-negotiable for you, right?
Well, for both of us, because you like to sleep with sheets, maybe even preferably a blanket if you needed to, but you like to burrow in your sheets, so the room has to be cool enough. I needed to be cool. So as a result of having to use AC in a way that we want to, that comes with the price tag. In the States, our electric bill per month was about $121.25 per month. Here it's between $200 and $280 per month. We have a bigger space to cool. It's hot here all the time. In the States, we get seasons. We get 3 months of fall, 4 or 5 months of winter, 2 months of spring, and like 4 to 5 months of heat. Here
I think
it's
that sounds like more than 12 months, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. Or less.
But here it's hot
all the time.
Hot all the time.
And we just turn the AC on at night anyway,
Right.
not even during the day.
But because of the non-negotiable, we need the AC. And look, we got Ghanaian friends who have never turned on their AC unit, barely used a fan. Their electricity bill is like
Pennies.
$20 a month,
Yeah.
$30 a month. Ours is almost $300 a month. So how much do you have to save up? AC usage is a consideration. Interestingly enough, because electricity is cheaper in the States, when we have Airbnb guests that come here, they don't give a crap about how expensive electricity is here. They got the AC on, they leave the house, leave the AC on, come back. I mean, it's all good, but once they move here, then everyone's tight with their electric usage. So what was the other non-negotiable we had?
Well, high-speed internet. That was definitely a non-negotiable for
you
both
too.
of us.
For you?
Yeah, definitely for both of us. I mean, you do your work, your business, and you need internet.
Need internet.
Internet is also like communication, source of entertainment. I mean,
and here we talked about it in the early videos. In the States, you pay for speed. Your data consumption is like an all-you-can-eat buffet. But here in Ghana, you don't pay for speed. You get the speed they give you, but you pay for the consumption of it. And so, it's a consideration of what your expenses will be like, and it will also help answer the question, how much do you have to save? So I guess the real big things are, what are assuming you've bought your place, your biggest expense is going to be your food. So let's talk about that. If you're a vegan, it's probably cheaper for you to live here.
I mean, definitely. When I go to the market, the amount of things that I come home with from the market and how much I spent. I think 2 weeks ago I went to the market.
And we did a video on this. Is Ghana really affordable?
But I went recently to the market and I didn't film that or anything. But I mean, I brought home like so
A lot
many
of stuff.
fruits.
For how much?
And it cost in total, it was about 120 CDs, which is about $10.
$10.
And it was enough fruits for like a week and a half. And you can survive. Even, the rice, different things are relatively cheap. But where you get expensive is if you're talking about you want meat and seafood, like shrimp.
And cheese.
Oh, cheese. Yeah, cheese is like ridiculous. You really have to love cheese to want to buy because it is expensive.
And
here.
strawberries.
Any imported fruits So it's important, like for us, when I go to the market, they're like, oh, this is imported bananas versus local. No, I'm gonna take the local bananas. They're perfect. So fish, they have different types of fish here, which I would say is relatively affordable. The tilapia, the cassava fish, that's fine. But when you start to talk about salmon, I don't even look in the salmon direction at this point.
Daisy loves salmon, but she's too cheap to
I'm
buy
too
it
cheap to buy
in
it.
Ghana.
Too cheap. No, I'm not doing it. Shrimp, we'll do it as a treat. Once in a while, we'll do it.
But it's not as expensive as the salmon is.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And then we do mostly, like, for him, chicken. And we do eat pork, don't judge. And
Pork. What's the other big expense outside of food if you've already bought your housing? It ain't healthcare like in America because you pay only when
a la carte, yeah.
It's a la carte. You pay when you got an issue, unless you have a chronic issue. Then it could be an expense, a monthly expense, a quarterly expense that you have to account for. We don't have any chronic issues.
Yeah.
So for us, our healthcare costs are
at the moment
zero until we have to go pay for something.
I would say like Ubers and stuff.
Transport.
If you're into taking Ubers versus a Trotro, like if I wanted to go to Accra Mall from here, depending on the time of day.
So hold on, let's rewind it. Transport, either you have an automobile,
right,
or you don't. If you bought an automobile, it's a chunk of money. You got to spend money on maintenance, fuel. But if you don't have a car,
it's so affordable.
It's not hassle free,
right?
But it's affordable.
If you're willing to
sweat.
The Trotros I've taken before.
Trotros are dollar vans. Just
yeah,
those are like dollar vans.
40-minute, 50-hour ride. Probably a lot of times is like less than $1 because like
super affordable.
Yeah, it's pretty affordable, but it's a van. You have to come in, jump in and out to let people on or off depending on where you're sitting, stop and go. But that's definitely affordable. You can get around.
We have some friends that do it.
Yeah.
We have some friends that wouldn't be caught dead doing it.
No. And if you don't want that, you just go and do like Uber or Bolt. And again, comparatively speaking to what an American price would be for an Uber, it is affordable. But yeah, I think that would be like one of the other expenses. So food, it would be like transportation. And then
entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment.
We know people we have friends who are out all the time eating, on a plane going to different countries. Those things add up.
Yeah.
We have friends who are like hermits, don't leave the house.
Right.
So the question, how much should you have saved up to move to Ghana? It's a personal exercise that you can be assisted with, but it comes down to choices, lifestyle, preferences, non-negotiables, what you're used to, what you can settle on.
We forgot our last one.
What's that?
We talked about the AC and the internet, high-speed internet, but also the electricity, consistent electricity and consistent water. That was important in terms of what we wanted. So that will affect, the amount of money that you need.
So in Ghana, real Ghana living includes random, but certainly more than occasional electric outages, water outages. And so because I'm, still working on projects, water, and dare I even say hot water, was a big deal for us. And so that limits the population of less expensive things you can choose from if you have to have consistent water and your preference is hot water. Same thing with electricity. We have friends that have homes. There are always outages, and some of them have backup generators, where you also have to be responsible for the fuel and the cost of the fuel to power your electric generator, to back up your electricity that just went out. We have friends that don't have this. We have friends that live in places where they don't have electricity for days. We haven't had electricity since, we're like, what? So where we live, we have guaranteed electric uptime. And for that, again, it limits the population of choices that we can have, less expensive choices, if we want to have electricity, which we do. So again, it's all personal on what you can settle for, what you don't want to give up, what kind of lifestyle of what Ghana has to offer naturally that you will accept and adapt to, or what you're like saying, I'm not going to adapt to that. I want to bring these expectations. And so, yeah.
Personal question.
Personal questions.
Yeah. So at BW Gaidu said, we're definitely interested in seeing a comprehensive, dedicated video that features all the initiatives you're invested in.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you for your interest. So, part of this channel is to share our experiences and document our transition. But a growing component of the purpose of our YouTube channel is to also showcase the opportunities for people who are moving here, to show them how to set themselves up financially to thrive, whether that's assessing your assets and your income as you come over, but also the things that you can commit your capital to, that you can invest in, that will also generate revenue to either hold you over until your pension, Social Security comes, or to add to your pension or your Social Security. So we sort of serve as like guinea pigs to volunteer our capital, to commit to things, so that when we show you the experience or the experiment in real time, whether it made money or lost money, you could either avoid those things or adopt those things to make money. So we're investing in a bunch of things, mostly because of how the infrastructure in Ghana here is. Most of those things are going to be real estate related things, but a lot of it is also going to be agricultural things. We're in a Yam Farm, like we've talked about before. We've been approached by snail farm people, salt pond, salt pond people, yeah. Pig people, and we're interested in all of these rice people. We're interested in all of these initiatives, and we put our money into things. Many of them will not work out. A lot of them will be delayed, but I do plan on dedicating one video, if not more, to the status of all of the things that we're working on, because that's a very important part of what we're trying to do for you viewers. Technology, apparel, agriculture, real estate, a lot of industries to consider, and a lot of opportunities to make money. So thanks for that question. We will be doing a video like that.
So at Kofi Sugar said, I need a Ghanaian wife. If any beautiful queen is willing to connect. Everybody seems to be saying the same thing about how amazing humans they are.
So this is an interesting question, because I have a tongue-in-cheek response to it. A good friend of ours, I'm not going to say his name, I'll just say he's Guyanese and he's from Brooklyn. We joke about this topic, and he came up with an idea that is so crazy and ridiculous it might work, and it speaks to the comment question. And the idea was to set up a matchmaking service where foreigners would come, foreigners who couldn't find love in other places would come to Ghana with their capital, bring their capital, and bring their open hearts to try to find love here in Ghana. And I think this person's idea was the government would somehow work it where that the person coming in, marrying the Ghanaian, would get a little piece of land, and it would be a way to attract capital, like a dating mechanism, a dating site that attracts capital. Like Match.com is married
90
with,
Day Fiance.
meets 90 Day Fiance, meets crowdfunding. So Match.com meets 90 Day Fiance, meets crowdfunding. You bring your capital, bring your heart, you get your land, and I thought it was such a ridiculous idea. I laughed, but it's so ridiculous, it could work. So to Kofi Sugar, you're asking about a Ghanaian wife. There's someone here who could be working on the idea. So.
Wow. So Super Gaia 01 said, on the whole it sounds good. The bank thing would freak me out probably. Do they have insurance?
This is a comment question in response to in one of our videos when I had mentioned I couldn't make a deposit into our bank account for about 2 weeks. Deposit or withdrawal. And so a lot of our viewers were like, this is crazy. And so our follower here is asking, do they have insurance? I guess this is like FDIC insurance where depositors in America are insured in the event of any bank failure up to $250,000 US per bank institution, which is why a lot of well-to-do people have their money spread around different banks. Very few people with a lot of money have all of their money in one bank. Here in Ghana, the insurance, the deposit insurance is not as robust. I had just read an article, and I'll if I can find the link, I'll put it below, talking about how a recent law made it so that in the event of a bank failure, a depositor of CDs in a Ghanaian bank is insured up to about 6,000 Ghana CDs, which is about $500 US. So not a lot. But it really doesn't apply to us Americans coming over because we typically don't have the bulk of our assets in a Ghana bank. We have a small chunk of money in a Ghana bank in CDs, just in case. But for the most part, we are still having the great majority of our money in an American bank, Chase, Bank of America, Citibank. And when we need it, we know how to use some intermediary apps to transfer from our bank to get it to us so that we can use it as cash. But I don't know of, nor would I advise of anyone to have $100,000 US in a Ghanaian bank. So yes, they have insurance, but we don't care because we use our money in a just-in-time manner. When we need it, we get it from America to here, and then we use it. So, thank you for the question.
At user QQ1BT3BN4B. I wish you would do a video on the Ghana car, Katanka.
Is it Katanka or Katanka?
I don't know. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Well, when we first got here and we were in the market for cars, we were looking at a whole bunch of different things. The Katanka car is a Ghanaian manufactured car. I'm not sure if it's manufactured somewhere and assembled in Ghana or they do both here, but everyone knows it as the Ghana car. And we had invested, and we were looking at other things. We were looking at solar cars, a whole bunch of things. But what we learned in 2022 when we first got here about the Katanka car was that they were having production issues. And in November of 2022, they told us to come back in a year, which made sense of why there were no cars in the showroom.
Oh, we went
We
looking.
went on Achimota Road. And so we then learned, because a lot of our friends and people
Couple
who
of them.
have the
The
Katanka
trucks.
pickup trucks.
Pickup trucks, yeah.
So not only did Katanka say we won't have any for a year, they also said, and we won't have a variety of models to choose from. We will only have the pickup truck a year from now, which is kind of like now. And so we never thought about Katanka again. And so I don't know if we can do a whole video on a car that sometimes is here for purchase and sometimes not here for purchase. But we'll investigate it because we like to promote black owned, black made when we can. So we'll definitely do a video on it, one way or the other, good news or bad news. So thanks for the question.
So at Nana Nowusu said, you can also dedicate your channel to highlighting diaspora businesses and teaching folks how to start businesses in Ghana.
How to start businesses in Ghana. It ain't easy. Ghana doesn't make it easy to invest in businesses in Ghana. I've researched it thoroughly. Or to start businesses in Ghana. I've researched it thoroughly. Talked about it in some previous videos, but just a quick recap. If you're a foreigner, you want to start a business in Ghana that's not export trade, and if it's one of what's 95% of the kinds of businesses you can start, a service business, you have to fund it with either 500,000 US dollars, if it's just you, or if you get a Ghanaian partner who has at least 10%, you only have to fund it with 200,000 US dollars. Both numbers are unnecessary in my opinion and make it almost impossible for small entrepreneurs to consider something. There are workarounds. I work with a variety of professionals at the place where you register the business, registrars, and some other consultants who help our members do workarounds, but it's tough to start businesses in Ghana. As it relates to highlighting businesses, we actually have an add-on tour experience for our Airbnb guests who come, who are typically taking a variety of tours to go to all the landmarks and all the traditional tourism spots, slave dungeons.
Slave River.
Well,
Slave River and the dungeons, yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah Park. But we have our own experience called Expat Impact, where we do highlight the very incredible businesses that our compadres, many of them are friends, for-profit endeavors have started, and also NGOs, nonprofit philanthropic endeavors. So we do have a tour experience called Expat Impact, where we do highlight diasporan businesses.
And part of the reason too is because when people would come and say, "Oh, this is the tour and this is where we're going," there are so many opportunity places that they could go to that are never highlighted on these tours. So that's part of the reason why when people come here, we let them know this is a expat place, a diaspora place, and we encourage them to support the business. And they're also businesses we like. So just because it's a diaspora place doesn't mean that we're going to recommend them. Is if we like it and we've had a good experience there, we'll definitely recommend it, because we also want people to have good experiences. But I would say so far we haven't found any diaspora place that we wouldn't recommend.
Oh, I know a couple.
You do?
I definitely know a couple.
Okay, well I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Crap.
I can't
Need
think.
to go back home.
I can't think on the top of my head, but the ones that I'm thinking top of mind are nice.
We just got very lucky in that a lot of our favorite places are good people, good service, good food, good product. But not everyone is like that.
Okay, I can think of. Okay.
Natasic 1034 made a comment. You look like you miss New York / America. Do you miss America?
Well, I want to know what look I have. You say you look. I
You
look
look
like
like-
it. I don't know what the look is that I have.
I don't know. I don't know either.
No, I don't actually miss it. I mean, I miss my family, but
That's not America.
yeah,
She's saying
New York,
New
America.
York / America.
Yeah, well, they're there, so that's why I say that. But I don't miss New York.
She didn't say, are you missing your family? She says, you're missing America.
I do not miss America. I'm not sure what look that I have, but I can assure you that I don't miss
Not
New
only
York,
that,
America.
not only that, I would say, and I can't speak for you, but I think you might, there was a time where we were feeling guilty. I was feeling guilty
Oh, yeah.
that I wasn't missing anything about America. And I was like, wow, I really thought I would have been longing for something and some experience, and I was going to be all nostalgic. And there are times where I don't think about America. I mean, we watch American TV, we keep up on current events, but to me, that's not an American thing. That's just like a global information. I mean, we were in the States, we were always watching news about the globe. So we're here in Ghana watching news about the globe. But I used to feel guilty that I thought I would be missing New York / Brooklyn more than I have been, which is almost non-existent. So we don't miss anything about New York. And I think I'm a little more surprised at myself than you. You were more of a traveler. I was a person born in New York, mostly stayed in New York outside of college, had zero interest in leaving Brooklyn. You would think I would have missed something, but
Nothing?
something.
Nothing.
Zero.
Not even your favorite stuff, foods?
Yeah,
stuff
but
that you-
foods are things that you can recreate places. We've gone to
Okay.
places where we've had great Italian food and different, so you can recreate those things. Those things can be, but just the, no, we don't miss America for certain. We might miss certain things about Brooklyn, not necessarily New York, but yeah, I don't know what look you were looking at.
Yeah, I have to change my look then.
Yeah.
No. Oh my goodness.
So, Amoni Travel 9360 asked, how are your flowers doing?
My flowers are doing quite fantastic. I guess I should give an update on that. My jungle that's out there. My flowers have gotten to the point where I've started to propagate a certain number of them. So propagating means basically taking off or breaking off from certain plants and making other plants, smaller versions of them so they'll grow. So I've been into doing that lately. I've been into making my own fertilizer lately from like eggshells and banana peel, potato, and all these different things to kind of get a more natural, holistic fertilizers. to have them grow. It's funny because, when as a person who likes plants and is constantly outside, and I'll break off a piece of plant, I'll put it in just a random pot that's not fancy, and Dale will come, oh, do we need to go buy another pot? And I'm like, Dale, I'm just experimenting here. I'm just propagating. He doesn't believe in having ugly plant pots. Me, I'm fine with it.
I don't like to see janky pots.
I'm fine with it because I want to know
kick-ass balcony
that this is going to grow before I dedicate a pot to it. So we have this constant pull and tug about it. But the plants are doing really well. They're thriving. I noticed that depending on the season, the water requirements are less, or certain things grow better during the rainy season versus now the dry season. So I kind of have to pay a lot of attention to that. I'm battling some bugs, always, the mealy bugs, but I found a good combination for them. So, but it's just a constant learning experience for me, and it's been kind of like my peace. And part of the reason sometimes I don't even want to leave home for too long because I'm worried about my plants and how they're gonna, manage when I'm gone. I consider myself a plant mom now. But yeah, the next step is the herb garden. So everything's doing well so far.
Something ZLR Zebra said, asks, how far is our Airbnb from Accra? Is there an Uber and beach close by? Uber close by?
Oh, Uber close by? Uber and beach close by? Oh, so I guess it means if you can use an Uber. Is there Uber and a beach close by? So to answer the first part, how far from Accra? So about 45 to 50 minutes if you're talking about going to, let's say, Accra Mall, which is kind of centrally located to everything. So 45 minutes. Not traffic time, of course, and not dirty December time. Sometimes that can vary depending on the time of year and the time of day. Uber, yes, Uber is everywhere. They don't just have Uber, they also have Bolt and also Yango to get around. So you have three options of...
And regular taxi.
Of app-based taxi services, and they'll come to you. But just mind you, they're not big cars. They're clown cars, small cars. So don't come with a party of 6 people and think you're all going to share an Uber. It's not going to happen. There's no Uber XL, and there's hardly any Uber Comforts, which means AC. There's AC. No AC. Hardly. And beach nearby, yes. There's actually, I would say, 20 minutes from the beach, from one particular beach, and then there's rows and rows of different resorts also along the beach.
We got lucky.
Yeah.
Even with Dacia's pre-arrival due diligence, when we bought this place, we didn't know how lucky we were going to be in terms of proximity to the shoreline. And so we live at the bottom of like a little mountain, and on the other side of the mountain is the beach. And so every resort has their little sliver of beach with their theme. And now the roads aren't the best along this sliver, but the choices are really decent in terms of
definitely.
From here to here is just beach. So we're close to the beach. I mean, we can get to the beach in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe?
15, 20. I would say 20 to the main beach that most people are familiar with. And then there's other, like I said, resorts along the way. Take you through towns and stuff. And there's some beautiful resorts. Like, you wouldn't think it would be at the end of this dirt road, but amazing stuff. And good food. Really good food, too.
So we're lucky to be close by the mall, close by the beach, close by the mountains to get the nice air. So come check out our Airbnb. Zebra. Thank you.
So Anonymous asks, is it really safe there? I hear conflicting stories.
So we had done a piece, top reasons why we're moving to Ghana, and we had mentioned, I think it was one of my reasons, we were doing top 10 reasons that each of us had for moving to Ghana. And one of mine was, you know, the fact that Ghana has no guns for the most part. I don't think the policemen, most don't carry guns, some do.
Some do. I've seen like those big
Most don't.
rifles or stuff.
And the point is, so for us, in terms of coming from a place where anywhere in America at any given time there could be a mass shooting, everyone's dead, that's not a thing here. So to me, Ghana is safe. Coming from a place where if you're driving somewhere late at night, state trooper pulls you over on the highway, it's you and him on a desolate road, and there's a 50-50 chance that you could end up dead, that doesn't exist here. So to me, Ghana is safe. Now, if you talk about petty crimes where someone might ride by on a bike and steal your cell phone, or if you leave something in your car or something on your car might be taken, that happens. So no place is without any kind of crime, but in terms of safety, I've never felt more safe in my life. What do you think?
I don't feel unsafe here, but I also practice safe. I also have safe practices. You know, some people will walk around on their phone and they're just like oblivious to things. Yeah, you're gonna be a target most likely, and something's gonna happen.
Anywhere
Anywhere you'll be a target. I mean, I was talking to someone, I think last week they came over and they said they were at the particular club, and they said this particular club in Ghana is known for people taking stuff out of your bag and you don't know how your bag got open. Like, I mean, if you're gonna go to a particular place that's very crowded, I mean, no matter where you are, people are going to pickpocket you or take money or whatever. We personally have never had the issue, only because we're really conscious about our surroundings because we're from New York. Like, so I don't trust initially from the get-go anyway, so we always try to be careful. But just generally speaking, I've never felt to be unsafe here, except maybe when a taxi's driving a little crazy. But other than that, I've never felt unsafe as a woman
Also,
going places by myself.
there are places that I've come to know that report more crime than other places. I'm not going to name them. If you email me, I'll tell them to you. I don't want to give places a bad name if it's proven to not be the case, but from what I hear, there are certain pockets, certain areas where there has been more reported crime. But again, it's someone stole someone's goat, someone stole someone's air conditioning unit from the house, someone stole
Copper wires.
But in terms of
Physical violence.
mortal
Yeah.
risk, death, risk, physical violence, I feel none of that here.
From what you see, are Black Americans really moving there in droves?
I wouldn't say droves, but I would say, you know, from our own experience, we've had more than a handful of people come to our Airbnb, one-way ticket,
No.
bunch of suitcases,
Yeah.
no real plan, but we'll figure it out over the next year. And so that's just in our Airbnb. I would imagine that this is happening in other people's properties, in hotels. So not droves yet, only because you can't come here and get a job. So that really puts a bottleneck on the spigot that could have opened up.
Yeah.
Because Black Americans can't come here, there are no jobs to get. So you either have to bring your money, bring your savings, or bring your revenue generating idea. So for that reason, it's not droves. But in spite of that, a lot of people are moving here. A lot of people are moving here. And I think every year as people get more familiar, you know, more people open up YouTube channels to show Ghana is not like, or Africa is not, you know, zebras and tigers chasing you down. It's just regular people trying to make a life, trying to enjoy life. It's normal here. As more and more of these images and reach you, you'll open up to the idea of relocating, and more people are becoming. So yeah.
And it's not like people are all moving to the same central location, so you can like really have an impact of them. People are moving further west 5 hours, further east 5 hours, further north. So it's hard to really get a pinpoint of how many people are actually. Is it 5 hours east? I don't know. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 hours
5
east.
hours east is Togo.
Yeah, I don't think so, but 10 hours north.
Yeah.
So people are moving to so many different places. I don't know if someone's actually taking the data for
Yeah,
this.
it's probably hard to collect the data.
So-
But we even know people who have moved their husband, wife, 5 kids to Takoradi, which is 5 or 6 hours
Right.
west,
Right.
which is like the Long Island of New York, very quiet. So the point is, we can only see what we can see in our Airbnbs, but what we can't see is a whole lot of people moving.
Possible. So Guy Grim Empress says, from what it looks like, you have to have loads of capital to move and start a business in Ghana. So extending the invitation to come back is not for all, but mainly for those very 1% rich Black Americans.
Absolutely incorrect. 1% rich Black Americans in America are people making $400,000 income per year. That's the 1%. You can move to Ghana and rent. We have friends who are renting entire homes, anywhere ranging from $250 US, no frills, to $700 US a month. Beautiful frills, 2-3 story homes. $700 US per month. So you could rent. There are options here where you could buy an apartment on the high end, millions. On the low end, as low as $35,000 to $45,000 US dollars. So that's very far from the 1% rich. And then you have people where they come and they can buy a piece of land for cheap, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 US dollars for an acre, and build for cheap, anywhere between $35,000 and $500,000 US dollars. So whatever your budget is, you can get in where you fit in and get the housing that you need and set up the life that you can sustain. But it has nothing to do with being 1% rich. Your dollar goes further here because of the exchange rate advantages that we have. So I would argue that almost any Black American with a job, with a 5-year plan minimum, can set themselves up for success here in Ghana with proper planning, proper consult. And you don't have to be 1% rich. So
Start that plan for people.
I should start that plan.
You don't have enough to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
New service here.
No, I'm serious. But 5-year plan, because people don't know how much they need. It's just like the question we had earlier.
Well, send us a note. If you agree with Daisy that I should start another business called the 5-year Ghana plan, send me a note. And if 20 people say you should, then I'll start the business. Anyway, thanks for the question.
Okay.
So to wrap this video up, completing our first full calendar year of residency, it feels less and less like we're outsiders. We feel more at home every day. We wanted to say thank you to all of our members who have joined, to all of our subscribers who followed, to every person that stops us in the street to say hello, to all of our friends and our family who have visited. You have made this transition for us to Ghana so much easier. And we have a lot planned for 2024, a lot of good things for you. We hope to see you in the new year. We hope to host you in our Airbnb in the new year. We hope to work on some projects together that will make money and make Ghana great. in the new year. So if you've never visited Ghana, please think about doing so. If you haven't asked yourself the question, would life here in Ghana be better for you? Please ask yourself the question today. And if you've not considered investing in Ghana, you should have a piece of Ghana in your portfolio. So we'll see you in the new year as we continue to strive to create a soft landing space for you and your capital. So thank you. Any last words for you, Dacia?
Nope. See you guys soon, and thank you for your support. We really appreciate it.
Who is John Galt?
Retirement living. We all have to eventually plan for it. Where will I live? How will I survive? How can I be supported? These are the questions you'll ask yourself. But have you ever thought about retiring in Ghana? Golden Monarch Housing may be the best option for you. Some expats prefer to buy land and then take years to build a home, deal with budget overruns, delays, shady contractors, only to live alone and have to hire a full-time staff for assistance. Why not choose a move-in ready, fully supported community of like-minded neighbors? Golden Monarch Housing is a senior living village. Each unit is spacious with a mini kitchen, bathroom, and study. It's senior living that's modern, fully supported, fully staffed, shopping supported, doctors on demand, community game nights, and more. Golden Monarch located in Ghana. Retirement ready.
Attention vendors in America. Now you have direct access to products from Ghana. Now you can source black soap, shea butter, fabric, apparel, bedding, wigs, and more. Because your wholesale costs are low, your profit spreads are very attractive. Ghana Authentic. Become a vendor partner today.
You groove it, Africa. You groove it, Africa. The music, Africa. You move it, Africa. You wear clothes, Africa. You wear clothes, Africa. You dancing, Africa. You dancing, Africa. You prancing, Africa. You prancing, Africa. Romancing, Africa. You going, Africa. You going, Africa.